Hello and welcome to Business Q&A, and I'm Gary Alfonso. In a world where digital transformation is no longer a choice but a business imperative, legacy systems have become the biggest roadblock to innovation. From outdated infrastructure to rising costs and diminishing skills, organizations are under pressure to modernize fast. Joining us to discuss how we can transform critical systems without disrupting day-to-day operations is Denzil Govender, Chief Technology Officer at Aayoko Software Development. Denzil, thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So we hear a lot about, application modernization lately and stuff like that. So why is there such a strong push for it now, and why has it become so critical even at boardroom level discussions today?
So I think, organizations are starting to realize that the applications that they relied on for decades are now becoming bottlenecks. And, whether you're in the insurance or retail or banking space, I think the pace of change is relentless. We're also seeing competition coming from organizations born in the cloud has become much more fierce. And Gary, we're seeing examples of that play out today, especially in the banking sector, where some banks are able to move much faster than others. I think another factor is customer expectations around digital experiences have become much more sophisticated and have increased significantly. So yeah, I think organizations are starting to realize that application modernization is not just a tech initiative, it's a boardroom level priority.
So what are some of the key business drivers or challenges that are prompting organizations to bring about these changes in their application landscapes?
Yeah, I think there are many challenges and factors that are driving application modernization in organizations today. Cost, for example, maintaining legacy applications is quite expensive, especially if your applications are still running on mainframes. We're seeing organizations spend up to 70% of their IT budget on just keeping the lights on. Then, Gary, there's agility. Modern businesses need to roll out products faster. They need to adapt to changes in markets. They need to respond to shifting customer expectations. And that is extremely difficult to do if you're working on old monolithic applications. I think another challenge is, talent and key man dependency. Many people that truly understand these legacy applications are very close to have already surpassed retirement age. And organizations are sitting with this huge risk of all of that institutional knowledge or tacit knowledge walking out the door. And then on the other hand, Gary, you have young developers, that want to work on the latest, coolest technology stacks. And if your environment, feels outdated from a tech perspective, then you're really going to struggle to attract and retain talent.
Where do organizations go wrong maybe when they're looking at the modernization of their applications? What are some of the pitfalls?
Yeah, I think, one of the biggest missteps is thinking that application modernization is just a tech initiative. It's about rewriting code or simply moving to the cloud. And, that's not the case, right? It's really about aligning technology with business goals. I think another pitfall is that organizations, go with the big bang approach, and that is trying to do everything at once. And we see this leads to a lot of budget overruns, disruptions, project fatigue as well. And that is why we advocate for a more phased, more pragmatic approach. I think another pitfall is, I would say, underestimating the human element. You can have the best applications and architectures in the world, but if your teams are not ready, and if they're not trained, supported, and engaged, then you're really going to struggle to see their benefits.
You spoke about, there's sometimes the rip and replace model, or sometimes, phasing in. What is Aayoko's approach to helping organizations navigate this landscape?
Yeah, our approach is very business-led, very context-sensitive. We don't believe in the one-size-fits-all solution. So our approach when it comes to application modernization really revolves around a three-step process. We find that we've got very good results from the process, and it almost simplifies the modernization for our clients. And Gary, just to give you an example, very high-level overview. So step one is about us coming in and truly understanding the current application landscape. And as you can imagine, with most of these legacy applications, there's very little to no documentation that exists. So we do have tools that helps us expedite that information or analysis and information gathering. Then step 2 is about defining the to-be target state. Where do you need to be as an organization? Now that you have a good understanding of where you are and where you need to be, step 3 is about defining a roadmap on how to get there without disrupting day-to-day operations, which is extremely important. So we do have many patterns and strategies, like we use the strangler pattern, where we build new features around the legacy application and then transition gradually over time. We also wrap legacy applications with APIs, and this allows them to integrate more efficiently and effectively with modern platforms. And this enables our clients to continuously deliver digital services without waiting for the full migration or modernization to happen. So we're currently assisting one of our clients at the big banks with modernizing their 40-year-old application. And yeah, we're seeing great results from the process.
Well, sounds like glad we have competent people looking after this sort of stuff. And I have to leave it there. Denzil, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you.
That was Chief Technology Officer at Aayoko Software Development, Denzil Govender. Stay tuned for more Business Day programming coming up next.